Hollywood's golden age was filled with charm, glamour, and some very well-kept secrets. But behind the dazzling smiles and sharp tuxedos were stars known for more than just their talent, if you know what we mean. Forrest Tucker may not be the most recognizable name to modern audiences, but in Hollywood's golden era, he was a man whose reputation extended far beyond the silver screen. Best known for his roles in films like The Yearling and later the TV sitcom F Troop, Tucker carried an on-set presence that turned heads, not just for his acting skills. Rumors about his impressive endowment began circulating early in his career, and they weren't exactly whispered quietly. In fact, his legendary physical attribute became the stuff of industry folklore, with some insiders joking that it deserved its own screen credit. It was said that even during costume fittings, the crew often had to make adjustments. His co-stars, both male and female, couldn't help but comment on the unmissable fact that Forrest wasn't just tall in stature. Some even claimed that his confidence came not from ego, but from knowing a very specific kind of advantage. While Hollywood has always had its fair share of gossip, few legends have stood the test of time quite like Tucker's. His legacy? A blend of rugged talent, memorable roles, and a behind-the-scenes reputation that continues to raise eyebrows and smirks to this day. Frank Sinatra wasn't just the voice of a generation. He was also the subject of one of old Hollywood's most whispered-about rumors. Known for his slick charm, piercing blue eyes, and magnetic presence, Sinatra had women falling at his feet wherever he went. But behind the tailored suits and the velvet vocals was a man whose other asset reportedly left just as strong an impression. Industry insiders, mistresses, and even fellow stars spoke, often in hushed tones or cheeky winks, about Sinatra's well-endowed anatomy. Ava Gardner, one of his most famous lovers, is rumored to have once quipped that Frank only weighs 120 pounds, but 10 of that is pure talent. Whether or not she was talking about his singing is up for debate. Some claim that costume designers had to get creative with his pants, while others say that his signature swagger came from knowing he was packing more than charisma. It's unclear how much of the legend is fact or exaggeration, but in the smoky lounges and backstage dressing rooms of mid-century Hollywood, Frank Sinatra's reputation was huge. Literally. And while the man had no shortage of accomplishments, fans still wonder if his biggest legacy had nothing to do with a microphone. When it comes to old Hollywood legends, no list about well-endowed celebrities is complete without Mr. Television himself, Milton Berle. Known for his sharp wit, wild comedic timing, and groundbreaking work on early television, Berle also had a backstage reputation that outshone even his most extravagant punchlines. In fact, his endowment became so infamous that it turned into an industry-wide joke, and not a quiet one. Comedians, actors, and even producers made references to it, and Berle leaned into the myth with his usual flair. It's said that during a backstage contest among comedians to compare sizes, someone told him, "Just take out enough to win." And that's exactly what he did. His fellow entertainers were both stunned and amused by the, let's say, scale of the situation. What makes the legend even more powerful is that Berle himself never denied it. In fact, he often played it up in interviews and roasts. With his unapologetic humor and legendary size, Milton Berle didn't just break boundaries in television. He redefined male celebrity gossip. Whether myth or fact, his name became synonymous with bigger than life in more ways than one, making him one of the most talked about men behind the scenes in showbiz history. Bert Ward may have played the boy wonder on screen, but behind the scenes, he was the real superhero in more ways than one. Starring as Robin in the 1960s Batman TV series, Ward quickly became a teen heartthrob with his athletic build and skin-tight costume. But according to the actor himself, that costume caused a whole other kind of stir, especially with censors and the Catholic League. Why? Because Bert was famously well-endowed, and his tight-fitting spandex left little to the imagination. In interviews, Ward claimed that executives were so concerned about complaints regarding his bulge that they actually asked him to take pills to shrink it. Yes, you read that right. Pills. Ward later revealed that he eventually stopped taking them, fearing the health risks, and the wardrobe team had to get creative with padding and strategic camera angles. While the network was trying to keep things family-friendly, Hollywood insiders couldn't stop talking about what Robin was really packing. Fans were none the wiser back then, but the behind-the-scenes buzz turned Bert Ward into a legend for reasons that had nothing to do with fighting crime. Let's just say, Batman wasn't the only one bringing the power to Gotham. Errol Flynn was the embodiment of swashbuckling charm, handsome, daring, and irresistible both on and off screen. Known for roles in classics like Captain Blood and The Adventures of Robin Hood, Flynn didn't just steal hearts, he stole headlines. Hollywood was buzzing with rumors not just about his wild partying and scandalous love life, but also about what he was reportedly blessed with below the belt. Stories of Flynn's sexual escapades were already tabloid gold, but what really cemented his legendary status were whispers of his generous endowment. So infamous was his reputation that friends and foes alike joked about being out-Flynned, and tales of his bedroom prowess became part of Hollywood folklore. Some even claimed he named his prized asset and was more than happy to introduce it at parties. He exuded a devil-may-care energy, with the confidence of a man who knew he had an extra advantage, and wasn't shy about it. The phrase "in like Flynn" didn't just reference his way with women. It hinted at his entire aura of seductive dominance. Whether myth or fact, Errol Flynn's reputation lives on, not only for his films, but for a legacy that was, shall we say, larger than life. Charlie Chaplin was the king of silent films, a man who could captivate audiences without uttering a single word. His iconic persona, as the lovable vagabond in films like The Kid in City Lights, made him an international star. But behind his signature mustache and ill-fitting clothes, Chaplin's reputation was often the subject of more than just cinematic admiration. Rumors about his impressive anatomy were circulating in the early days of Hollywood, especially in regards to the legendary actor's time with women. Chaplin was known for his many affairs, with a string of lovers, including actresses like Paulette Goddard and others who couldn't resist his charm. Some insiders even hinted that Chaplin's famous, somewhat odd, appearance may have concealed a rather remarkable endowment. Though the actor's personal life was often controversial, filled with allegations, divorces, and scandals, the stories about his physical gifts added an extra layer to his already enigmatic persona. It's said that his on-screen persona of the awkward yet endearing tramp might have been a carefully crafted mask, concealing not just his true talent, but also his confidence in areas other than film. Chaplin may have been a comedic genius, but when it came to his reputation off-camera, it was clear he knew how to make an impression. Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle was one of Hollywood's first big stars, a comedian known for his size and his impeccable slapstick comedy. Rising to fame in the silent film era, Arbuckle was adored by audiences for his talent, larger-than-life personality, and, of course, his physicality. But behind the laughter and the oversized persona was a darker side to his story, one that involved not just scandal, but also whispers about what was underneath. Arbuckle's name became synonymous with more than just comedy when rumors spread about his considerable endowment. His size was no secret, and as an actor who often played the bumbling, overweight character, it was said that his physical presence made quite an impression both on screen and behind the scenes. However, Arbuckle's career took a dramatic turn when he became embroiled in one of Hollywood's most notorious scandals, the death of actress Virginia Rappe, which led to a highly publicized trial. Though he was acquitted, the damage to his reputation was done. Despite this, whispers about Arbuckle's body and his sexual exploits continued to circulate, cementing his place in Hollywood legend not just for his groundbreaking comedy, but for his bigger-than-life physical legacy. Rudolph Valentino was the heartthrob of the 1920s, a man whose dark, mysterious allure captivated the world. Known for his roles in silent films like The Sheik and Blood and Sand, Valentino became an icon of the early Hollywood glamour era. His combination of smoldering looks, suave charm, and undeniable sex appeal made him a sensation, but it wasn't just his acting that set tongues wagging. Valentino's rumored impressive endowment became part of his mythos. Behind the dashing costumes and romantic roles, whispers about his physical attributes were part of Hollywood folklore. Stories spread of women who were practically enamored by his presence, not just his acting, but the power he exuded. Even some of his contemporaries would joke about his larger-than-life presence, with many insiders nodding in agreement that his success with women wasn't just about his looks or talent. Valentino's tragic and untimely death at 31 only added to his mystique, leaving behind a legacy that was not only defined by his unforgettable roles, but also by the whispered legends about his manly charms. Whether myth or truth, Rudolph Valentino's reputation as a lover has been immortalized, making him the ultimate symbol of passion in Hollywood's golden era. Clark Gable, with his square jaw, intense gaze, and signature mustache, was one of the most iconic stars of Hollywood's golden age. Known for his unforgettable role as Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind, Gable defined masculinity for an entire generation of moviegoers. His rugged charm and undeniable talent made him a heartthrob. But there was one aspect of Gable's allure that became the stuff of legend: his reputed manly endowment. While his acting skills garnered praise, it wasn't just his charisma or good looks that had the public buzzing. Stories about Gable's physical attributes circulated through Hollywood's elite circles, with some claiming he was one of the best-equipped stars of the era. It was said that he was well aware of the stir his presence caused, both on and off set, often using it to his advantage with women. Though his off-screen life was filled with marriages, affairs, and tumultuous relationships, the whispers about Gable's larger-than-life reputation continued to echo. His appeal went beyond his talent. His confidence and magnetism seemed to make him the complete package. And in Hollywood's eyes, Clark Gable was not just the king of Hollywood, but a man among men. Rock Hudson was the epitome of Hollywood masculinity during the 1950s and 1960s. With his tall, broad frame, square jaw, and deep voice, he was the ideal leading man, starring in films like Giant and Pillow Talk. His boyish charm and good looks made him one of the most sought-after stars of his time. But beneath the glamorous surface, there was more to Rock Hudson than his on-screen roles. Hollywood insiders didn't just talk about his acting prowess. They whispered about his well-endowed reputation. Known for his athletic build, Hudson's rumored physical attributes were the subject of many backstage stories. Some sources claimed that his larger-than-life presence was not confined to his movie roles, and even his female co-stars couldn't help but notice his impressive size. While Rock was known for his on-screen romantic relationships with leading ladies off-screen, his personal life was much more private, and eventually revealed to be quite different from the public's perception. Hudson's sexuality was a closely guarded secret for years, but his rumored manly traits remained part of his legacy. Even today, Rock Hudson's name continues to evoke a sense of mystery, combining his iconic star power with the whispered legends about the man behind the smile. Burt Reynolds was the epitome of 1970s Hollywood masculinity, combining rugged charm, a devil-may-care attitude, and an iconic mustache that became as famous as his film roles. Known for movies like Smokey and The Bandit and Deliverance, Reynolds became the go-to leading man for films that mixed humor with action. But there was more to Burt than just his charming smile and charismatic performances. Behind closed doors, rumors about his impressive physique were as legendary as his acting career. The tabloids often made headlines about Burt's manly endowment, which became the subject of much gossip in Hollywood. Even his famous 1972 Cosmopolitan magazine spread, where Reynolds posed on a bearskin rug, became an instant pop culture moment, further adding to the whispers surrounding his physical allure. Co-stars, friends, and even admirers couldn't help but comment on his undeniably masculine presence. It was said that his confidence on and off screen stemmed from knowing he had more to offer than just his acting chops. While Reynolds' playful persona made him a favorite among women, his larger-than-life reputation off-screen solidified his place as one of Hollywood's most memorable stars, both for his films and the tales that continue to be told about him. Billy Bob Thornton has always been an enigma in Hollywood, talented, eccentric, and unapologetically himself. From Sling Blade to Bad Santa, Thornton's career has been marked by his deep, brooding characters and unique approach to acting. But off-screen, his persona is just as unforgettable. Among his many stories and quirks, one of the more intriguing rumors revolves around his impressive endowment, which became the subject of gossip in Hollywood circles. Thornton, known for his irreverent humor and willingness to embrace his unconventional image, was said to have no hesitation in discussing his physical gifts, often with the same dry wit he used in his roles. In fact, the rumor mill had long whispered that his reputation with women extended beyond his acting prowess. His larger-than-life presence off-screen turned heads just as much as his performances. Thornton was never shy about his eccentricities, and though he was known for his many relationships and marriages, the talk of Hollywood remained centered on the combination of his raw talent and, apparently, his bigger-than-life attributes. Whether it was the confidence from his star power or just an undeniable presence, Billy Bob Thornton made sure he wasn't just known for his films. He was known for his unforgettable impact. John Dillinger was a name that struck fear and fascination into the hearts of Americans during the Great Depression. Known for his audacious bank robberies, he became one of the most notorious criminals of his time, outwitting law enforcement at every turn. But beyond his criminal notoriety, Dillinger's reputation was also tied to his legendary charm and his not-so-secret assets. Stories from those who knew him often mentioned how Dillinger had a powerful presence, both in his rugged good looks and, it seemed, in his more personal attributes. Whether on the run or charming women in speakeasies, he was a man who exuded confidence, no doubt a byproduct of knowing exactly how memorable he was. While the tabloids focused on his daring escapes and gang activities, whispers about his larger-than-life anatomy were never too far behind. The mix of his criminal exploits and the rumor mill surrounding his physical prowess made Dillinger a larger-than-life figure who captured the imagination of both the public and the press. His notorious crime spree ended abruptly when he was shot by the FBI, but to this day, John Dillinger remains a symbol of defiance, power, and an enigmatic legacy, one that included more than just his criminal fame.
If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment. Also, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to be notified of our new videos each day. Thanks for watching.